Hey guys, Dr. Joe Rangle, the bodybuilding PhD. So we're going to get into the whole response versus reaction pillar of the three pillars of masculinity. And this one is huge. It is the most important of the three pillars because you can't do the other two without it. And it is the hardest to achieve. To some degree, for lack of a better term, you can fake the other two pillars. You can fake providing a space for somebody to be emotionally safe. You can fake it for a little while, not forever. You can't fake this one. And this is the one that's going to require a huge amount of effort and work on your part to achieve. So first, for this first video about response versus reaction, we're going to talk about what is responsiveness versus what is reactivity, because there's some confusion out there. A lot of people think that the reactivity portion, or being a reactive person, means that, oh, something happens, so I hulk out, I rage out, rah, punch walls, or I'm dangerous, and yeah, that's part of it. But instead of thinking of reactivity like a bear or a lion, right, or something that we as guys might actually have some affinity towards, right, and give it some type of positive spin, think of it like a rabbit in the woods, because the reactive portion of you is just fight or flight. That's all it is. It's your body going into fight or flight. Sometimes that reaction comes out in the fight portion, right? Sometimes it comes out in the flight portion, and believe it or not, it comes out more often in the flight portion. So instead of thinking of it as, being big and scary, understand that reactivity is really about being kind of like a timid woodland creature, constantly on edge, constantly alert, constantly observing for threats. And if pushed, will bite, but will also freeze and will also run. And where this comes from, where all reactivity comes from, all of it comes from a position of threat. Now, we're going to start getting a little psychological here, but you got to understand how this works, okay? I won't get too crazy on you, but hear me out here, guys, okay? When the reactive man experiences a threat, it could be a physical threat, it could be a threat to his love life, it could be a threat to his financial security, it could just be a threat to his ego being made fun of by a group. When he experiences a threat, just feeling uncomfortable in a social situation is a threat. When he experiences that threat, if he's a reactive man, he's going to go into fight or flight. And this in the modern world does not necessarily manifest as, I'm going to pick up my spear and attack something, or I'm going to run off into the woods. Because we filter that through the way our current social consciousness works, right? And so reactivity just may manifest itself in putting your hands in your pockets, putting your head down, being quiet, and trying to be as small as possible in a social situation. Reactivity might manifest itself if your feminine partner is, yelling at you and going off on you. It may manifest itself in just shutting down. Right? It may manifest itself in burying your feelings down and denying that they exist. It might manifest itself in just rolling over and showing your stomach and becoming placating. Yes, dear, whatever you want. Whatever you say, dear. Yes, dear, I'll do whatever you want. Okay? The reactivity that we're talking about isn't just getting angry. It is getting angry, but it's not just getting angry. It's also shutting down, going into emotional evasiveness, doing passive aggressive things, trying to get back at the person in little stupid ways. These are all reactive, and they're all based on threat. And this is where we come back to Viktor Frankl's quote that I said in the last video I did. Between the stimulus and the response, or the reaction, there's a space. And in that space is where you choose to respond. So what we need to be able to do here is, when a threat comes in, whether it's an actual physical threat, there's a freaking grizzly bear in the woods, or it's a perceived threat, I'm getting called in my boss's office, I don't know why, or, my woman is giving me backseat driving, or she blew up at me all of a sudden. The goal is to be able to identify when that threat comes in, what you are going to do with it. This is something you have to train yourself in. You cannot just fake this, because you can pretend all day. You can walk around all day saying, I'm going to be responsive. I'm going to have better measured responses to things. But when the actual threat occurs, your body is going to go into fight or flight. That is how it works. And you need to be able to learn how to control that. Okay. And that takes a lot more than just a little video that I'm going to be able to post here, or at least one video. So we're going to have a whole series on this. And the first thing we need to understand is that reactivity comes from threat, and threat causes all of these other emotions: anger, sadness, jealousy, fear, guilt, shame. They all come from a position of threat. Something has threatened you. Now I'm going to get really crazy on you here. All right. This is where I'm going to lose some of you, but you got to hold on. Where does that threat come from? Does your body determine things are threats? Because not everybody perceives everything as a threat. Where do you get that from? I hate to tell you this, but this is where we're going to start talking about what has happened to you in the past. Because your brain, your neurological system has been trained by your previous experiences to understand certain things are threats. And if you've been the victim or you've experienced trauma, or child abuse, or an absentee parent or anything like that, these things will stick with you, and they've trained you, they taught you how to survive in this world. Okay? And now people say, oh, no, my childhood has nothing to do. Your childhood has everything to do with who you are right now. You can overcome it. You can. Okay? But right now, instead of trying to change everything, I want you to look back in your past and try and identify things in your past that have created the behaviors that you engage in now, things that have taught you what is a threat in your life, because we need to redefine what those are. All right, guys, more to come, lots more to come, but for now, that'll do. I'm Dr. Joe Rangel, the bodybuilding PhD. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.